So where we left it was with the questions about other kinds of charts, better charts, right? Better than a line chart. So, Ahmed, so you had. So did you find anything good? Any other kind of charts? Yeah. No. What were you doing with that 10 minutes? Now your brain is fresh, ready to look. Okay. Yes. Okay. All right, Saja.
I found many things. I was just on the radar.
What? Yeah? Okay. So, say it was, how do you spell it?
R-A-D-A-R.
Radar. Okay, let's try it. Let's switch it. Maybe it will just work. Radar. Okay. Oh. Radar. Okay. That's one. Maybe because with more data it would look better than this. Yes. Yes. So
My recommendation is
pi. Okay. Let's try pi. Thank you, Saja, for the radar one. And let's bar. Okay. Hey, see, the P's and B's are really confusing. Okay. Bar. I was gonna be like pi. Okay. I hope somebody says bar though. So okay. Okay. Hey. Well, that's accurate. It is going from. It's using as its base the lowest one, and going up to the 5, which is the highest one at the moment. Okay, let's add another one real quick and see what we get. Float your goat, I think was one of them. Okay, so we better give that a value also. Let's say 2. Say 1. Let's say 1. Okay. All right, let's see what that looks like. Okay, good. Yes. Bubble. Okay, let's try bubble. I want to see bubble. Before we do that, let's make one tweak to this, though. So I mentioned that there's options, right? We haven't used any of the options yet, but they are options. Options are good for things like this. I would like it to start at 0, not at 1. And if there's nothing at 0, no problem. But I wanted to show that because it looks like float your goat isn't even there, but it is there. Float goat 1's not bad, and it's not even showing any bar for it. So let's go back into the code, and I'll switch over real quick to my other one so I remember it, because it has a particular syntax. That I think is it. Maybe that. Okay, so inside of options, here, scales, y-axes, ticks. I don't ever remember that. Every time I need to do that, I go up and look at the documentation, of course. And begin at 0, true. That part makes sense. Everything else is a little hard to remember. And let's see what we got. Much better. For me, much better. Okay, good. So that's good. That's a decent report. That kissing goat got 3. We don't know out of how many. That would be a more sophisticated chart, but at the moment we just know kissing goat was clicked 3 times, sassy goat 5, and float your goat 1. So great. I like bar. Let's try bubble. Let's see what we got. Okay. What? No bubbles for us, yeah. So I'm sure, and I bet you see about it, there are some cool charts using bubble, but apparently it needs more information. It needs the information organized differently. Let's see if we get an error here. No error, it just doesn't work. So something needs to shift. If you find something at the next break or at lunch, please let us know how to make a nice chart with the bubbles, because I really like the look of bubble charts. Somebody mentioned pi. Actually, nobody mentioned pi. I just heard pi. So let's see if what that looks like. And it probably adds up, but we don't have good colors for them. Everything's the same color, so we can't tell what's going on. Take a little bit of research to figure out. I'm sure probably 5 minutes of research, and you have different colors showing there. Let's see. Let's look in our code real quick. And yeah, we just have a background color and a border color, but nothing for each one. So let's stick with the best one so far. I think was bar. Okay. Okay, good. Good. So I just put in labels there, hard-coded them. I'd really like to get them from our data, right? We already have it right here. So how could we, instead of having this hard-coded one right here, how could we get real, live, dynamic data from that, from our goats array? So we want.
Yes, we can use the function.
A function?
Standalone function.
A standalone function?
Yes.
Okay. And what would that standalone function do?
We will bring all the goat's name
Okay. Yes.
and put it in the label array.
Okay. So something like, function get goat names, something like that. Does that look good? Like that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And it will return an array of goat names.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Great.
Or we can use the array that exists already.
We sort of can. Let's see. Not random goats. Get. Or hold that thought, Danya. Okay, so get goat names. All right, so it's going to get it from here. So we want a new array with the goat names. We have a bunch of goat objects, our goat instances, right here, and we just want their name. We don't want the whole goat. We want just the names from them. This operation is called mapping. We want to map a bunch of objects to a string for each name. You'll learn a bunch about maps in 301. Okay. A loop, right. Okay, great. So for var I equals 0, I is less than,
All that.
yeah, I think it's goat.all, I think, yeah. Yes. Okay, and then I plus plus. Great. Just to be extra clear about it, I'm going to say var goat instance. Right? An instance is a particular object that was constructed, and equals goat dot all what index? I. Right. I. Okay. So now, oops, let's say up here var goat names equals empty because we haven't added any to them yet. Okay. Yes.
The word instance
Yes.
where as a name
Yeah.
such function.
So the instance, yes, the instance is, so if you have a fruit constructor function called fruit, and you give it pass it in a type, so you pass it in apple or pass it in banana or something like that. So each time you do new fruit and you get back, and you back from that new, a particular newly created fruit, well, that is called an instance of a fruit. So there's the fruit constructor function, but when you use that constructor function to make a new one, that new thing or that new object is called an instance. Okay, it's one particular fruit or one.
It's the type
The instance is still its type is what the constructor function is. So its type will be fruit. Also, depending on how you ask, it might just say it's a type object. Yeah. but it's typed the way that the best way to think about it is that the type of that data is fruit, and this one here,
I console type of instance.
it will just that one will just say object, but that's just because JavaScript is a little bit not powerful enough there. So yes, if you're asking for the type, it would be object. Okay, so instance is in this case, instance is the particular goat, right? There's a kissing goat instance. There's a sassy goat instance, right? They're different. The overall goat constructor function refers to just the idea or the category, right? Okay, so we're going to be using that word instance a lot in the rest of your career. So being clear on what that is. What as opposed to the thing that creates it, which we call a constructor function, you will soon call a class. And so, okay, all right, goat instance. So we have our goat instance. What do we want to get out of the goat instance? The name of it. And what do we want to do with that name? The name that we get from the goat instance. Yes, push it. So goat names dot push. And then we ask the goat instance exactly for its, yes, whatever it is. I believe it's called name in this case. But if you want to know for sure, write title. It wasn't name, it was title. Okay. I called this get goat names. I'm going to go ahead and be strict about this, get goat titles, because really it's for the title of the picture more than it is the name necessarily of the goat itself. So let's do it. Let's be really good with our naming. Okay, let's see if this works now. This should have this should have all the names now.
So the data is not.
Yes, you're right, but the data's not right. Dang it! Okay, so let's go ahead and give some fake stuff there. How many do we have? 8 maybe? What's that? How many goats do we have? It's like 6 or 7 or 8. Something like that. 8. Okay, 3, 5, 1, 2, 8, 9, and 3 again. That's close enough. Okay, let's see what happens. Probably what will happen if we're missing one is it will just be missing, but we'll find out. And good. So float your goat. We didn't give it anything, and so it just defaulted to 0. So that's worth noticing. It won't break the chart. JavaScript usually tries very hard to not break. It would much rather be wrong than to break. I wish that it was opposite. I wish that it would break when something was wrong, but it won't. It just says, okay, 0. That might tell your user that float your goat was clicked 0 times, and that might be wrong, but we'd rather it look good, so it doesn't crash. It keeps going, but it's incorrect. So just you have to watch for that. JavaScript won't do it for you. You have to do it. Okay, but it looks pretty good.
Yes.
Not too shabby. Of course, if we want to figure out the real scores, well, it's going to be similar to how we figured out the names, right? If we want to find the score per instance, then we could do it the same way we found the titles per instance, right? Okay, good. You could, if you wanted to, make that even into one function. Something like get goat info, and then the info could pass back the title and the score, right? The click counter. Yes.
Here we need to show up 2 data, not for the same name.
Say that again?
For this
Yeah.
now, on this
Yeah.
you have the click counter and the scene counter, or the show counter.
Okay.
So we have to show it up using this chart.
Yes. Yes, you will have to extend this. You'll have to make it figure out how to add another one.
Yes.
Maybe you want to have like 2 right next to each other, right? The shown, and then it would be really nice if you could show perhaps behind it, right? You could have, all the way up to here is your clicked,
One in front of
and
the
then
other.
yes, exactly. Thank you. That's exactly right. That might be, if you figured that out in time, great. If not, maybe you just have them right next to each other. So instead of this, here we can do it right here actually. Let's add one more value for that float your goat. Okay, so this is the data, but if we wanted to double that and have it be like, let's do this, 3 and 4 and oops. So what I'm doing now is I'm making it so that every other one has the shown counter. Okay? This is one simple approach. I think there are better ways, but this is one approach.
We treat the data by pairs.
Just one second.
That's fine.
Okay. So one simple way of doing this, simple but not necessarily the best, is that we would have 16 values. And so the first one would be the click counter, the second one, the shown counter for the first goat, right? But for our labels, we're going to have to double those two. So you'd have to go in and have something like push title, but maybe something like this would be better. Title plus clicked and title plus shown. And let's see how that looks. And okay, you know, getting somewhere. I don't think it's a perfect chart, but it does communicate with by looking at it what's going on. Definitely not as good as what Nala was saying about being in front, but you know, getting closer. And that was just something we just tried, right? I never did that before. I just wanted to see how it would work, you know. So spend a little bit of research on it, seeing what you can get, if you can get something better. But if you, in the worst case, something like this. Okay. So speaking of the lab, let's take a look at the lab. Make sure that we're covering all our bases here. So Canvas. And then don't let me forget, we want to talk just for 1 minute about the career coaching. Okay, lab. Okay. All right, so it's giving you a link to the previous lab because you're going to want those features, and then in addition, these features, and not a whole big amount of instructions. So let's check. Okay. As a marketeer, somebody that works in marketing, I want to prevent users from seeing the same image in 2 subsequent iterations so they're not biased. So they're not, and update your algorithm to randomly generate 3 unique product images from the images directory. Some of you may have already done this. Some of you may have already done this in your previous lab, but you may not have. So make sure that, so this lab is to get that in there. Update it so that new products are generated. Confirm these products are not duplicates from the immediate previous set. Okay? So if you don't have that working, or you don't have that working as well as you'd like, then work on randomizing with the rule that they don't repeat from the previous one. And don't repeat with each other, of course. Okay. I'd like to track how many times a product has appeared in a voting session. Okay. An additional property. Again, you may have started on this already, may even be finished. But we want to track how often they were shown on screen, and oh, that's it. How often they were shown. So good. Okay. So and then here's the big part. I would like to visual representations of how many times a product was clicked. So notice it does not say that you need to show clicks out of how many times. So what Noah was asking about having the clicked and the shown, the assignment doesn't actually ask for that. So that's not a requirement. You figure out a cool way of showing it, perfect. Maybe you have right in front of it, maybe slightly different from each other. Who knows? Use your imagination. Go crazy. Except for my get some rest. Okay, so, but that's not a requirement for today. The requirement for today is to finish up on the randomization and selection and to show the chart with the, did I just lie to you? Let's see. Using chart.js, display the vote totals and the number of times a product was viewed in the bar chart format. Okay, I'm wrong. I totally lied. So you do. You need to find some way of communicating that. Maybe it's another one there. Maybe, thinking about it, maybe it would say in the part of the label. Let's say how many times it was.
Can we use 2 lines in the chart? You know, we have
Two separate ones? Yeah.
One line for the click and
Yeah.
another line for the...
Yeah, try it out. It's very flexible. Just use Canvas to do it and have it be accurate. Okay, but here's an important part. Place the bar chart beneath. Okay, my one was on the side with a table. Yours is going to be a chart down below. And the bar chart should only appear after. Okay. So how are you going to make it so it only displays after? Not the whole time.
Maximum limits,
What's that?
maximum limits of clicking
Mm-hmm.
will be reached.
Great.
Then you can print it out.
Yeah, then print it out. So in the previous ones, it was printing out at the very beginning. Don't print it out at the very beginning, right? Print it out at the end. Is the easiest way. If you wanted to do a stretch goal and be more flexible, maybe you show it empty, and then when it's all ready, then show it. And that's going to require more sophisticated JavaScript. But that's up to you. That you could keep it simple and just only render it right at the end. Okay, do the work on a branch called chart.js. This seems like a small thing, but it really helps me to grade if you keep your branch names the same. I can make scripts and automate some of my work because I always know that it's going to be in a repo named this and in a branch named that, right? So great. So please follow those directions closely. And that is it. Let me make sure I didn't lie about anything else by accident. Okay, 3 unique random products. Great. And okay, so yes, so finish out basically the randomization parts and the tracking of the shown and click logic parts, and then display it in chart.js. Okay. Any questions on that? You can have them later too, of course.
Only tomorrow. Ask me.
Yes, at 3 a.m. Okay, sounds good. That is that. So, great. Then let's talk for a moment about 2 things. 1, the career coaching, and 2, the final exam. Okay. So, career coaching. I think it just says use your accountability partners. So everybody selected 2 other people to be their sort of to their helpers, people to keep them supported and to check on things. And what you want to do for that assignment is just to start on your resume. Not end, not perfect, just basically follow the structure that was laid out for the resume. It doesn't even really matter at this point if your spelling is right. You're not showing it to anybody except for your accountability partners right now. Just follow the structure of the template for your resume and then ask your accountability partners to check it. That's it. Accountability partners, you don't need to correct any spelling. You don't need to do anything like that. All you need to say is, the template said we wanted to put this thing here and then this thing here in a subsection and these 2 things down here, and you did it. Or maybe you didn't do it. You forgot to do this, and that's it. That's enough. Okay. So this should be like a 5-minute assignment. Okay? You'll have more time over the course of your time with in in 301 and 401 to get a real resume, a really, really nice resume ready. But for right now, it's just following the structure. Okay?
So in the end, we will submission our resume.
Yes, you submit it after it has been. Yeah, even just review it. You don't even need the edits from them. Just review it verbally with your accountability partners. Okay. All right. The final exam. The final exam is on the calendar for this Thursday.
Final quiz.
Sorry. Yes. Final quiz. That's a better way of putting it. Yes. What? What did you say?
She's shocked.
It's a final quiz, not an exam.
Yes.
So don't
Yes.
stay till 6 a.m.
Yeah. But it's. I like that name for it better. But it is. You do need to pass it to
Yes.
to proceed. So so there's that. So yes, this Thursday, because the final Thursday is going to be your presentations for your project, and we want you to be able to focus on your project. And so it will be this Thursday. Okay. And what we will do is Thursday we'll have some review in the morning, and then you will have the rest of the day to take it. Usually we do it a little differently in Seattle. So for the questions that I had been answering earlier, this is a little different from that. So this is the official answer, right? We will have review time in the morning, and for half the morning or so, and then the remainder of the day for taking the final. Okay, there is totally open book. Totally open book. The only thing you cannot do is ask each other for the answers or give each other the answers. Right? That's not okay. Everything else is okay. Internets, books.
Say it's open source, and for example, group is source from.
No, everyone has not open source licenses, right? Now for that day, everything is closed source. No, okay, I know you're joking. So yes, internet, yes, books, yes, notes that you've had from before. Okay, everything except for giving each other the answers. Right? Okay. There was a question that was asked about retakes. So the retake policy is going to be individual. So if you don't pass, then we'll talk. And I want you to think about this as it's my job to make sure that you get that you're taking the proper class. So if you get, they said there's 25 questions, you need to get 20 right, and you get 3 right, and it turns out it's because you're terrified of things, or perhaps with Nassim, or there was something else going on, that even a terrible score may be eligible for a retake, depending on the situation. But we have to discuss it. If we're discussing it and I'm asking you the questions and you got 3 right because because you don't understand the rest, then it would be a mistake to go to 301. You would just be confused all the time, right? Mm-hmm. The proper thing would be to give you resources to get better at the 201 level, right? So it may turn out that some people fail the course and I do not give them a retake. And that's not as a punishment. It's because you're not close enough for it to make sense to go to 301. So I want to say that now. This isn't that you messed up. It's that we don't want you to waste time and money being in the wrong class. Okay? Okay. So do you get a retake? It depends. And it depends on discussions with me. Okay. Good. So we'll have Thursday. We'll have a full day on Thursday morning and every day from now on. I'm going to give you some strategies for how to take the final, and because it's not a final about what you've memorized. So it's a final about figuring out, how to use the internet, like we just did with when Ahmad was asking, can we use a different chart you might get a question that's like that. Like if you have a chart that displays like this, and you want to make it display in several columns that are stacked, what would you do? And then give you some answers. You didn't know that before today, right? But you saw it wasn't that hard to figure out. So 5 minutes later, maybe you got the answer. Okay. So it's much more about that, about your problem solving and your researching skills. Okay. Yes. Okay.
What's about the Thursday and the Sunday exam? It's 2 parts?
No. Oh, because there's 2 in the Canvas. Yeah, that's only because Canvas has a requirement there. There's one. It's just that they're broken down into the taking of it and then the result, and that's just because of Canvas. It's a particularity of Canvas. You will only be taking one final quiz or exam. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I know it's confusing in Canvas, and I thank you for asking about that. But there's just one. One of them represents that you did it, and one of them represents your score that you got for doing it.
The
Okay.
time for the exam is 2 hours.
I'm sorry?
The time for the exam.
We will have more. We're going to have the morning to be studying or preparing for that, and then we'll probably be more like 4 hours, more the afternoon. Yeah.
And you can
Yeah.
do it in less than 4 hours. But
Yes. Yeah.
Just to be really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. What happens for some people is that you say no, you can have more time, and then someone will get scared about giving an answer, or and more, and it's like, oh no, I just talked to you. You know all these answers. You could have done this in half an hour, and yeah, but you gave me 6 hours, and so I wanted to make sure I took every moment of it. So the answer is that the time limit will be longer than we predict that you need. But some people want to take a break. That's fine. Leave the computer here, of course, but go take a break, eat some lunch. There's some extra time for that. Okay.
How's that?
Huh?
How's that?
How does that work?
If I go out for break,
Yeah,
my friend will go out.
I know.
They will finish up.
Yeah, well, that
you'll stay here.
yes, exactly. Yeah. So here's the thing. There is a lot of trust. There's a lot of trust built into this. And so it's really can you cheat? There are so many ways that you could have cheated this entire time, right? Maybe you just copy your neighbor's or your partner's code. Just paste it. But then I say, that doesn't look right. I have a script that I run to compare the code, to compare it, right? I'd say, no, yours is exactly the same. That's not good. So then you want to keep cheating. So you say, I'm going to change the order of these lines. I'm going to name my functions differently, right? And now it looks different to my program. You're still cheating. And you didn't learn anything except for how to cheat better. But yes, you could. So there are many things in this course that would allow you to take advantage. And I will be honest, we don't have enough tools to keep you from doing that. But you're going to spend a lot of time here and then go try to get a job, and you won't be able to get it because they have better tools. They have more time. If I'm checking all 26s of yours every single day on a lab, right? That's different from one person who's going to hire you, who's going to decide how many tens of thousands of dollars to give you. They're going to spend the time to check. And so, sure, you might be able to cheat me, but you won't be able to cheat them. So I trust you. I trust you because I trust your intelligence, even if I didn't trust your heart. Yeah, you wouldn't be doing anybody any good. So that said, maybe the brakes is pushing it. So I don't know. Maybe we don't have brakes. So we'll see.
And in the end, you're not helping anyone else. By giving answers, you're not helping anyone.
Yeah.
Because even if they pass this exam, you have 301.
Yeah.
If anyone who wasn't supposed to go to 301, he'll just suffer in 301. So in the end, you're doing them a favor by not giving them answers.
Yeah. And exactly, thank you. And in the end of 401, right? If you cheated your way through 301 and you got the 401, the final for 401 is personal. It's like it's solving a problem. No computer on the board. It's called a whiteboard exam with not your instructor, but with another instructor, an expert in the field. There's no way to cheat on that.
Good luck in that.
Right. So if you're not prepared, then it was just a waste of time to be taking 301 and 401. Anyway, yeah.
401.
Yeah.
301 qualification.
It's a similar exam, similar style of exam. Yeah. Okay, so thank you for being honest enough to raise those questions. So yeah, I'm trusting you. I'm trusting you to be ethical, but I'm also trusting you not to be dumb, not to waste your own time. If there are many, many funner things to do than to be in this class if you don't want to be learning, right? You want to be learning, it's fun. It's a great place to be. But otherwise, what are you doing here? Okay. All right. I think that about covers it. We can actually maybe stop a little bit early if you don't have any questions. Yeah? Okay, great. Enjoy your lunch. And I'll see you. Someone will be here by 1, if not me. Yeah. So open up the lab. Yes.
Because in lab 8,